Hello, everybody. I'm Kipp Snow, Director of the Transportation Distribution and Logistics Institute at the Community College of Baltimore County.
Hey, everybody. Mike Singer, Community Manager, Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. Welcome to Two Guys Talking Ship podcast, now sponsored by Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. How cool is that?
That is cool. Yes, absolutely. That's big news right there up the front. So,
right,
it's pretty cool to have some sponsorships now and help support us what we're trying to do here. So,
absolutely.
Thanks to the Shipwatchers group.
You got it. Hey, if you're new to the channel, give us a like, subscribe, or hit the bell to be alerted to new podcasts as they come available.
We took a little break for Christmas and New Year's, and so we're trying to get back into the swing of things. We're having to relearn computers and writing and typing,
talking. Just about everything.
How was your break?
Good. As a matter of fact, we have one more family party coming up this weekend. So,
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Final wrap up then of the holiday festivities. Right.
Yeah, like all these little family subgroups kind of deal. Big Christmas party was in there.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. Yeah.
The two guys were represented.
That's right. My break was pretty quiet. I made a point to try to say, you know what, I'm going to sign off everything and just take a little break. I need a little break this year. So.
Yep. And my company gave us off with pay between Christmas and New Year's.
Nice.
Has not happened to Mike in decades. Now, where I used to work, NASA, everybody took off that week. But you were basically using vacation. And if you weren't using vacation, you were at a 10,000 person facility with like about 50 people during the week. I mean, there was nobody there.
Yeah.
And they even had an all hands meeting at the current job and said, look, we're giving you off. Do not work. Enjoy your time off. Don't turn on the computer. Whatever it is you do, spend time with family, relax, go visit,
nice.
Go take whatever it is that you do for fun. Go. Do not work. So that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
That was a treat.
At the college, we always have from before Christmas to after New Year's off. So I don't. It would be a bit of a challenge for me to not have that anymore. But
right,
I enjoy it.
Right, so. Absolutely.
All right, why don't we get into some shipping updates?
Yep, let's do it. So so these are the truck transactions that happen every week. We take the amount. Big ups to Norm, who tracks this stuff. We have somebody who tracks this stuff because invariably I can't remember to go look at a website on a Friday every Friday and write down 5 numbers. I don't know what my problem is, but I seem to be challenged to do that. So we have a friend of ours who, one of the camera ops, big ups and shout out to Norman, who puts this in a spreadsheet for us and sends it to me every week. I mean, I know it's just one little thing, but when you're doing 15 things besides work for the Shipwatchers and for the podcast, to have one of them off your plate is a big deal. So
yeah.
Thank you, Norman. So,
yes, absolutely. Thanks, Norm.
Yeah,
I appreciate it too.
Yeah. So because then I send it to you. And It's all compiled with totals and week and month. And I mean,
super easy now.
It's nice. So here's the last 4 weeks, 3,413, 3,346, 3,315, and just this last week ending January 3rd, 3,043. But the last 2 weeks, 2 days off for Christmas and then 1 day off for New Year's Eve, for New Year's. So, and those are daily averages. So the totals were down significantly because, there was a day off or 2 days off.
Correct.
But the daily average isn't too far off. And this is a cool chart. You put this together.
Yes. So the numbers you just read off are week 50, 51, 52, and week 1 of the new year. And so in the chart that I put together here, everything in orange is the current year, or the current year's, or current fiscal year, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in blue is last year's of the same week. So now we would get a chance to kind of see where we're at year over year. I do have numbers from 2017 to current, so I'm going to spend a little bit of project time trying to put all that together so that we can all kind of see and maybe put some trends in for year over year. But this chart shows you what this year's in orange is compared to last year's in blue.
Right. And if you do a whole bunch of years, you'll just have like the lines. What is that called? It has a term, doesn't it?
Well, trend lines or...
Oh, okay.
So you can look at trends and do some trend analysis on it.
Right. So this is interesting that you just happen to split this right down the middle, and like, so the current year was out in front the last 4 weeks, and the last year was out in front the newest 4 weeks. Right, it's like up for the first 4 and down. It's interesting how it kind of split like that. Did you do that on purpose, or you just randomly picked the current 8 weeks, and that's just how it wound up?
I just picked the last 8 weeks to kind of show a trend. I mean, the more the more points that you put on a line, the straighter the line is. Okay? Sure. And so that so at least you could have a better sense with more data. I mean, this paints a picture, but it's not the complete picture whatsoever. But at least you can compare it to what was happening this time last year. So we'll keep working on including those metrics so that everybody can see some trends and start getting an idea of what these numbers really mean that we're just kind of rattling off every week.
Right, exactly. I mean, this is what I've always wanted to do, is have something that folks can just look at and see, instead of me rambling off these stupid numbers every week. If we can have some pictures for folks, some graphical representation of what's going on, then folks can just look at it and see the difference without having to listen to me babble.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So big news on the Key Bridge. I think is this breaking news?
Just came out today. I mean, I just popped it into the chat, with you today. So that's for people who are listening. Kipp and I, we chat about stuff all week long, news stories and what we're going to talk about, what we want to put into the podcast plan, and so. This just came out today that the initial load test was completed successfully. Both the vertical and horizontal load tests at the main span pier just south of the navigational channel. So the new Pier 24. So it's Pier 24 and 25, when I think the old bridge was 17 and 18.
Interesting.
So because it's so much longer, right? Yeah, that is interesting. And initially I thought, well, that's weird. If you have a bridge and you put up the same bridge and the span is hundreds of feet longer, how did you wind up with more pilings? Well, dummy, the bridge is longer. So there we go.
Yeah. What I find interesting is that obviously you have to have the design in place to be able to identify the 24th pier, but it wasn't like they just went out there and go, this looks like a good spot. Plop.
Looks like a good spot, Joe. Yeah. Start pounding. Okay. Like running out of Bugs Bunny,
Right. But, the fact that they've got this identified label, this is pier number 24 on the bridge that they put in. That's pretty impressive. There was a conversation I had with somebody connected to this, and there was I won't say a concern. It was, hey, we need this load test, and if this doesn't go, we've got to scrap the whole bridge and restart the whole design if we can't make this load test work. So I'm, I had a strong feeling that wasn't going to be the case, that they would not have gone through this whole process if they thought that it was going to fail, but you need to go ahead and test it anyway. So I'm glad that everything is good.
Right. And then, just, it's not giant bridges. It's a satellite that fits in the back of a truck, right? What I'm used to doing. But so you run a whole bunch of analysis to prove that your design is good.
Right.
And then you do some testing. You do thermal testing, you do vibration testing, there's all these different kind of, so I had faith that this was going to pass, but like you said, they have to do the test. They have to, right? So, but there's a little bit more here. This achievement as part of the pile load test program validates strength and performance of the foundation and marks an important step forward in construction. Full-scale pile driving will now ramp up at Pier 24.
Wow,
so
okay.
I think they're going to do another test at Pier 25, because when you look at those pilings, they're not cut. Like, remember when we looked at these, we had those pictures and you could see that they cut the windows in the round pilings, and then they had structures going into that window and had it all bolted together. It looked like a spider out there. It was quite intricate. Well, they haven't done any of that at Pier 25 yet.
Okay.
I don't think. So I think they still have to do that for 25. I don't know.
All right.
I'm going to be I think I'm going to be attending a get together where one of the engineers shows up and they have all the graphics and we can ask questions.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Next Tuesday, if you want to join me, cough.
We got some information on that teaser later on. So this is another shot that the Key Bridge rebuild folks provided for that. You can see the birthday cake sitting there on the piling.
Yeah, the yellow in the center there with the small what looks like small yellow parts, but they're as big as a person. With that giant H, the load test frame sitting on top of it. Yeah,
right in here, and here's the H frame, or the I frame, or whatever you want to. Do that.
Yep.
So those are some pretty neat pictures. I am really impressed with what Key Bridge Rebuild is providing the public as far as the information.
So much.
It's very, very transparent. I really do appreciate that information that's coming out. So
yeah, very much, because I don't think this kind of transparency in a project this large is so typical. I mean, everything and everybody is on social media these days, so you would hope it would be, but still kind of every day, every time when they make a post and tell you what's going on, it's almost like a treat for us, because we don't have to rely on shots that are 3.5 miles away from the camera, which is really cool.
I'm not knocking
but
that.
It's not like photos like this that are up close.
Right.
You'd still be just conjecture guessing what the heck's going on out there from 3.5 miles away.
Yeah. December 18th, there was an announcement by Governor Moore who named the new acting secretary of MDOT. So Kathryn Thomson She is the former deputy administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration. She will be the acting secretary for the Maryland Department of Transportation. Moore's office said that Thomson will take over the leadership of MDOT on January 7th, which was yesterday. And as the state faces major infrastructure, transit, climate-related challenges, acting secretary Samantha Biddle will remain with the department as deputy secretary. Now, I just saw them both tonight. I was out at the, I stopped by the BWI Thurgood Marshall International Airport. The AB connector will be open tomorrow.
Wow.
So, yeah, so you're going to have flights that are coming in and accessing that new terminal area starting tomorrow. They had a big ceremony this evening out at the airport, and Acting Secretary Thomson was there, and also Shanetta Griffin, who is the airport CEO, was there to speak on it. Governor Moore was there, and there was also I did not know that we had a TSA choir, and so there was members of TSA who had a song in celebration of Maryland. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
So the Kathryn Thomson is on the job. She's working. The second day on the job, you got to go open up an airport. That's pretty important, pretty impressive. So we'll be curious to see what she has to say about the maritime side of MDOT.
Yeah, and so what I found curious, and I just don't understand how this type of thing works, and I thought you could probably elaborate on it.
Yeah, sure.
Is we already had an acting secretary, and now we have a new acting secretary. Can you?
Yeah. So here's
why.
We previously Paul Wiedefeld was and saw Paul tonight also at the.
Okay.
He came because he spent so much time, ramping up that airport project. But Paul Wiedefeld was the Secretary of Transportation. He retired. And in that interim space, Samantha Biddle was the interim, and she was the placeholder for that position while they did a national search. And so Samantha went back into her post. It was a temporary. We needed somebody to take the reins while they went through the search process, and then this is the final decision here. So there is a process to make it from acting to official that they're going through, but she will be taking on the reins starting yesterday.
Oh, okay. That wasn't clear to me. I thought it was like acting, and then we have another acting, and why do we have two actings, and then when's the real? Okay.
Yeah, there was an interim.
Okay.
And now there's an acting until they go through all of the state. You have to be sworn in and approved and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But she can start working now.
Okay, I wasn't picking up on that. Okay.
That's okay. I mean, sometimes those terms are, in trying to communicate that out to the public, and it's important, ask, what is that person's role, and what is the acting or interim really mean in that process. And the state has put in mechanisms to allow for that, easy, non-combative change of leadership to just continue on. And when you have those interim times when somebody retires, you want to make sure that you have the somebody from the team who knows what is happening to be able to handle those responsibilities until the official person is able to step in.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah, no problem at all. Army Corps of Engineers issued a permit decision for the Sparrows Point Container Terminal project.
Yeah, so this was interesting because dateline December 18th again, but like they just posted it today. So, you and I are always joking around about, okay, we just got done the podcast. Kipp finally spent hours laboring over cutting out all of Mike's ums and coughs and all this stupid stuff. So it sounds right. And then we get it out, you put it out on YouTube, and then 2 or 3 stories hit like that day or the next day. And like, darn it, why couldn't they have come out? And so we've got all the stuff that's come out practically today.
Right.
So I don't know. And I'm joking. United States Army Corps of Engineers, somebody finally got back into the office after the Christmas break and said, hey, did we ever put out that thing from December 18th? I don't know. But that's, so it came out today. I'm going to read some of this. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was the lead agency under the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, for the environmental review and permitting process for the SPCT, Sparrows Point Container Terminal site through FAST 41, which is a legislatively established process for improving federal agency coordination and timeliness of environmental reviews for infrastructure projects. Now, I just wanted to go ahead and say this is, to most people, they did an approval. Great. But I mean, really big deal, because if you don't get this environmental approval, then you're not building, nothing happens. Right. So the permit authorizes the construction of an approximately 3,000 linear foot marine terminal consisting of a marginal wharf. Any idea what that means? Mm-mm. I wanted to find time to Google it today. I have no idea what that means. Consisting of a marginal wharf with ship-to-shore cranes, container yard, gate complex, intermodal rail yard, and various support structures, which also include upland excavation. There's a civil term.
Yeah, well, that's some of the leftover stuff from Coke Point.
Oh, okay. And revetment. This version of the podcast comes with a glossary.
Get out the thesaurus.
And associated outfalls. Is that runoff? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, for vessel access to the wharf, the project will include deepening and widening of the existing Sparrows Point channel and turning basin to 52 feet mean water, requiring mechanical dredging and placement of approximately 4.2 million cubic yards of dredged material. Wow. And which leads us right into some news came out about that they're actually going to start dredging. And I'm kind of surprised it's happening this early.
Really? Oh.
Well, I mean, I didn't know when it was going to happen. I just kind of thought it would happen kind of at the tail end, closer to the terminal opening. I really didn't know. But now we're talking 2 years ahead of time. And then if you're on the live stream camera, we saw, all right, so let me just, on or about January 15th, Cashman Dredging and Marine Contracting will begin dredging operations of the Sparrows Point Channel in Baltimore Harbor. The project will utilize the dredge Dale Pyatt, dump scows, along with hopper barges, to get that work done. We have some pictures of that stuff.
I sure do.
Loaded scows will be transported by tug to the designated disposal location. Now, this is interesting. Either the Norfolk Ocean Disposal Site or Masonville MPA site. So I think it depends on which area, because they did a huge analysis. Maybe we'll show this one day, because I don't think we have this ready to go. They did all these core samples and analyzed the material on the bottom, figured out what was in it, which parts were worse than others, and then certain things get deposited in different places depending on what they're pulling up from the bottom.
Yeah, we briefly highlighted this after the Trade Point Atlantic open house in the fall,
right?
And they had 3 different sites. One off the shore in Norfolk, one at Masonville Cove, and then one on the property, but we can pull that graphic back up here in another.
Yeah, because I mean they're going to be out there working.
Right.
I don't have an end date, which is interesting because typically these contracts, well, at least the maintenance contracts, come with like a beginning and a you shall be done by this date kind of deal.
Sure.
And what else is interesting is before you and I went on the DB Avalon, that monster walking dredge from a science fiction movie last year. Before you and I went out on that, Cashman, the Dale Pyatt, is who basically did all the maintenance dredging here every year.
Okay.
Every year. So it's, and I think they're kind of local. So it's cool to see them to be able to, back at home participating and helping out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a picture of your dredge bucket there.
Yeah.
Massive.
It's a monster. It's a monster. Do we have any specs on that?
I did not grab any of that.
But it's one of the largest dredges of that type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. You sent me something on the Sandy Point Lighthouse.
Right. So this is a cool thing because a local guy who runs his own contracting company, Vince Marks, is the owner of this lighthouse. Can we go to one of the other pics? Yeah, maybe the next one. Okay, maybe it's the last one then. So you can see in this picture where they were just redoing the roof and it's just tar paper, right? Up there.
Yeah. I see where there's no shingles on it. Now that you pointed out.
And then go back to the close-up of just the roof. And new windows.
Is that a metal roof on there?
I think so.
Nice. Okay.
I think so. So I think he's taking this project on himself. Him and his friends or his company, whatever. And getting this done. And I just saw, a post on Facebook maybe a week ago that this spring the whole lighthouse gets a new paint job. So everything from the roof down. So when they get that done, it's going to look fantastic. And I wish we had a comparison of the Baltimore light, which is the light that's off the Magathy. So the next light north of there, which has been restored for quite some time, and it's beautiful. Doesn't exactly look like this, but similar. So there was a while when people were wondering when this lighthouse was going to get worked on. So it's really great. And I mean, just imagine you buy a lighthouse and okay, you're a contractor. But just because you own your own business doesn't mean you have all the money and resources to be just pouring into a project like this. I imagine it and then how the heck do you get all this equipment out there and get it lifted up on there and build a scaffold and
by boat?
Right. I mean, just so it's really cool to see it happening now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Over the holiday right before New Year's, there was there was an incident in the port due to weather.
So this is one of the Ready Reserve ships, which is at North Locust Point, and somehow the lines broke in a strong wind, and it broke free. And then you can see this ramp actually fell into the water. Can you see that?
Yeah. Did it hit something or was it here? Here's the
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was. I don't know if this is if this was down to the pier and it drifted that far away from it. I'm not sure where the ramp was, but
okay.
That was never made clear to me. I'm sure somebody knows, but maybe somebody that works on the ship can comment on YouTube. But I mean, like, the fireboat. So it was December 29th, 7 p.m., and a fireboat was dispatched. So this is 950-foot former military sea lift command, now ready reserve force vessel, and tugboats had to come over and help, and then like a couple of days later they had to bring a crane over to help pick up the ramp and get that out of the water. So interesting little
definitely
news bit that happened at the port while we were all having fun and on break.
Yeah,
or hopefully some of us were.
Yes. There's a vessel that is coming to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Statsrad Lamcoal. Please, if I need to adjust the
yeah.
I'm not up to speed on my German there. This is a 3-masted steel-hulled bark built in 1914 as a training ship for the German merchant fleet. She sailed under the Norwegian flag for more than a century and remains in active service year-round. At over 320 feet in length, she is among the largest square-rigged sailing vessels still operating today. Now, she will be in Baltimore January the 30th through February the 5th, and that's from our folks at Sail Baltimore who provided that announcement. And cool. So if you want to, I would imagine they're going to have some tours that you can go on and come see that vessel.
Absolutely.
So want to go over to Sail Baltimore's website to take a look at that. So if you want to go see a cool sailing ship coming in that you don't normally get a chance to see,
right?
January 30th through February the 5th.
That's a nice little run. That's that's a whole week,
right?
So that's cool, because sometimes they'll just jump in like for a weekend and it'll be Friday to Monday and it's gone. Yeah. So I'll give folks a little bit more time. Man, that is a crazy picture. Can you imagine?
Right?
Something that big and getting tossed around like a toy in a bathtub.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Well, a little bit more than what I want to do anymore.
Yeah? You're not signing up for that?
No.
No?
Not. All right. So we've been talking a whole bunch about the Key Bridge. Did you know there was another bridge?
Or two?
Two?
Sort of.
The alternate C has been voted on
for the Bay Bridge, for the new Bay Bridge, right?
Right.
So what I think this means is for this given location, because remember there were 14 locations,
right?
And they've been working on choosing a location and going out and talking to folks and having meetings, right? Giving a chance for the public to give their input for 8 years, Kipp.
I know.
8 years. So I think this alternative C is an alternative plan for this specific corridor in this specific location. Does that? Okay. I think that's what that means. So I'm glad you have these pictures up, because when they described the sequencing of which bridge they were going to build next to, and then which one they were going to tear down, and which one they were going to build, and which one they were going to tear down, I had a hard time picturing it myself. So to have these pictures helps out. So the westbound or the new bridge is at the top, the eastbound or the old bridge is at the bottom. So they're going to build the new bridge next to the old bridge,
Okay.
That's number 2. All right, so go ahead and flip. Okay. And then they're going to remove the old bridge, the 1952, the original one, that's in red in slide 3. Right? And so then you'll be left with the 1973 bridge and the new bridge, which is on the outside of the 1952 bridge, the original one. You got it?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Then there's a nice space in there. Then they're going to put the second new bridge next to the 1973 bridge, which is the yellow bridge on slide number 4. Then once they have both new bridges up, then they take down the 1973 bridge, which is the red one in slide number 5. Slide number 6 is what you're left with. Okay. So I might be a little bit older than you. I might be lucky to see this day.
You think?
I mean, they're not even going to start until another 5 years from now at a minimum, right? So you're building a bridge, you're tearing one down. That's, what is it, 5 years? Rip one down, that's another 3. Build one, that's another 5. Tear one down, it's another 3 or 5.
All right, I can see your point on that.
Yeah, time is going to add up. I would love to see it.
Sure.
I wonder if I have to, tell my son, you're taking, wheel the wheelchair out to the car, pick my ass up, put me in the passenger seat, drive my ass across the bridge. I want to see it. I want to.
Sure. Totally understand that. I would be curious to see how much revenue. I wonder if they can project this. How much revenue is being lost with having the new Key Bridge at the new height, and the existing Bay Bridge? Hey, we got to figure out alternate X or Y or Z or continue on with all that. And how much revenue are we losing out because we can't get the post-Panamax ships in here because of the Bay Bridge? And I wonder if anybody has taken a look at that and said, hey, if we speed this thing up by 5 years, we get this amount of revenue into the state. Just food for thought. That's all.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it would be interesting. I'd be interested to see that analysis.
I understand.
I never thought I would hear those words ever come out of my face, but because I'm just not that guy. But it would be interesting to see the comparison. Okay, how much overtime for how many years? Because that's what we're talking about here, right? That's what we're talking about. If you're getting it done faster, you're talking about overtime. How much overtime is worth how much additional monies to the port based on higher volumes due to larger ships? And then what's the relationship? All right, so two guys talking ship here. What's the relationship when you bring in the bigger ships, and what would their anticipated draft be? Because I think some of these do run at 47, 46, 47, 48. I think they're rare. I think the coal ships go out of here at 48 feet all the time, but I don't think the container ships come in that heavy.
Sure.
Right? So, okay, now you've got a bigger ship that's wider, that's a little bit longer, and it's carrying another 5,000 TEUs. Right? So let's say 20,000 TEUs, which, it's funny to think about. That's like 24 is pretty much the biggest ship. So, all right, maybe I'll back that up a little bit. But so more weight. Okay, so you've made the height requirement. You've taken care of that. But then how does that interpret into draft? Because dredging how many hundreds of miles down to another 5 feet
right
is a big deal.
There's a whole bunch of moving parts on that.
Right. And then don't they have like a 5 and a 10-year plan that we talk to Jonathan, or didn't he talk to Jonathan Daniels, executive director of Port of Baltimore? When he came to like some of the BPA meetings, didn't he talk about that a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I wonder how far out, like, do they only go out 10 and somebody's just got some factors on a Word document somewhere, and it's not really in that official document that's estimating and talking about what we're going to do, because those plans are 20 and 30 years out. So we don't have a document for that. I mean, I'd be interested to know if he comes on the podcast one day. That would be a question I would like to ask him. Okay, what's that relationship and how do you plan for it? If you've got the 5-year plan and a 10-year plan, how do you guesstimate and plan for the 30-year plan?
Right.
When there's technically not a 30-year plan. I'm just wondering how that all works.
Well, there are some, you know what? How about I take that on as a homework assignment? Because I might know somebody. Yeah, I might know somebody who might be able to help us with that. The state has a consolidated transportation plan, and then the Baltimore Metro Council also has some long-term freight planning initiatives. So let me put some things together, and in the next podcast, we'll talk about that type of planning, and I know I can get that answer that says, here's how we go and figure out the 2040, the 2045 plans. So
very cool.
All right, going back to Trade Point Atlantic a little bit, because we were just talking about dredging at Sparrows Point Container Terminal. Related to the container terminal project, Baltimore County Council approved the biggest ever tax credit for a port project, and so they approved a 50-year tax credit that could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But the county council unanimously approved a 50-year tax credit on that project. Trade Point Atlantic, who is owned by private investors, has been planning this massive container terminal. It's a joint venture between Trade Point Atlantic and Terminal Investment Limited, which is an MSC subsidiary. And they're the ones who are investing in building the property. So this credit could save their joint venture hundreds of millions of dollars in property taxes over a 5-decade span.
Wow.
And so, but the purpose behind it is so that we can get the container terminal operating. It'll create about 8,000 direct and indirect jobs. So if you take a look at what that 50-year tax investment is compared to the tax income out of 8,000 direct and indirect jobs, now you've got employment tax that gets collected. That means everybody's getting a paycheck. That means people are buying stuff. They're buying houses. So there's housing tax, housing taxes. They're going to be buying a car, driving around. So there's, vehicle taxes.
They'll be buying stuff. They'll be working there. They'll be stopping off at the Royal Farm and buying breakfast and lunch or whatever.
It will recoup that money throughout the process. So I think that's. I know there's concerns about tax incentives and things like that, but when you're trying to make major investments that include infrastructure, those opportunities really do help the rest of the project come together, and all of the people who are involved in it, and other tax revenues that come in because of it. So I think that there's going to be a huge benefit for everybody because of that.
Right. And so I understand that. And I know this is a regular thing that we do. And I wanted to ask you this question because you're going to understand this and be able to explain this to me.
Okay.
But it's not like they had this tax credit and lured them in from the tax credit. The plans are already in motion. So it almost seems like they didn't need to do it. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just trying to understand.
No, I understand.
This is just Mike's brain go, how does that work? Can you explain it to me?
Kind of following the model in some of the things that I learned about Boeing going into Charleston and what the state of South Carolina did in order to attract Boeing, which is what you're talking about, attract them to this.
Right.
There has to be a conversation somewhere that gets started that says, hey, do we want to bring companies to the area? Or, hey, there's a company coming in. We really want them to stay here. And what are those tax incentives? Related to offshore wind, there was a cable company that came through Baltimore and sat with, the local, economic, drivers and said, we want to come to the U.S. Tell us who you are and why your local region is, desired, and what can you get, what can you provide to us? And I was part of those discussions from the workforce development perspective of what we could provide the company from that. And so they do look at leveraging those types of opportunities and benefits, and they will make a decision based on that. What I don't know in this one is, were those talks already in the works? And there was a handshake agreement or something that said, hey, we got to go through a process, but if you come here, we're going to get you some tax incentives. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll go ahead and start the process then. I don't know that level of information on this particular project. But there may be something there, or they may have gone back and said, hey, look, we went to go make this investment, but we realize if we're going to be here, if we're going to compete, we need a little bit of help. And the county may have come and said, okay, we understand that. Take a look up the river just a little bit, and what Ports America did with a public-private partnership with the state, and they have made an agreement for a 50-ish year, agreement to operate the space. And there were tax incentives that were given to them in order to be able to do some of this stuff while they are making some direct investment in this, in the state that they don't, that they could push off. So, not knowing the very specifics on that, I don't know where it all falls in, but I do understand what that question is.
Gotcha. You know, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how, maybe there's some union metrics or something, but it'd be interesting to watch, as a terminal comes online, right? Yeah. And they get their first ship, right? And they get their second ship. And then the ships start coming pretty regularly. And then somebody's, and it's great to have overtime, which I'm sure, that might be what supplies the labor in the beginning. Right. And these guys are going to be running back and forth between Ports America and, right? I would imagine it's the same labor pool.
I would imagine that.
I can't imagine, because I know guys who go back and forth between the two different coal terminals.
Yeah.
Right.
I would imagine that the ILA and the Steamship Trade Association are already thinking about this, and they're already starting to look at how do we address the the labor issues, depending on which local is operating at which facility. Another
Jonathan Daniels question. I hate to interrupt, but
I think
right, because okay, how do you? So basically, you can count on day one, when that terminal opens, all the MSC ships won't be coming here anymore, right? And so how do you lure more traffic here?
Yeah.
And how long in advance do you have to try to plan for that? Right? Just interesting dynamic of
absolutely.
how do you make this extra cargo volume? How do you make it work? So that it's not just the same ships are divided into two terminals and cargo really didn't go up. It would just be interesting to ask him, what all goes into planning that and how long does that take?
And I bet you already has like an estimated volume.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he spit out a whole bunch of stuff right off the top of his head. That would not shock me.
All right, we should add those questions to his question.
Yes, list. We should. Do we have them written down anywhere?
We will after tonight. The Neoliner Origin made another pass through Baltimore. A couple of people have asked, when is she coming? Or, the next time that she will be back in Baltimore is February the 14th.
So is that the third visit or the fourth visit?
I
think it's the third.
I think it's the third visit.
Okay.
The fourth visit will be March the 26th. So if you don't have any plans,
is that like every 6 weeks? Is that, if I can just infer from these two dates, is it that regular?
It's about that regular. Okay. I did look at the schedule, and right this minute there's an extended stay in France. So I'm not sure if that's a repair or what's happening with that right this second. But it's about every 6 weeks or so now.
The interesting thing.
When I was looking at their ship schedule, they now have passenger fares that you can buy off of their website, and you can take a leg from France to Baltimore.
Wow.
Tickets were anywhere from $900 to $2,000. It wasn't that bad.
I thought they were way more than that.
No. This was a comparable to a Caribbean or a Carnival or whatever cruise. Yes.
I mean, but do you even get windows and you're not swimming anywhere?
I don't know. That's not. Yeah, you're on a cargo ship. Let's be frank here. I am interested in what.
Wait a minute, so now we have Mike, Kipp, and Frank. When did Frank come in? Okay, stop. All right.
No, I'm not being Frank.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just being Kipp here.
Okay.
But you can, if you go to www.neoline.edu, not edu, EU, because it's a European website, /EN for English, and then /passenger offers. I'll put the link up.
Yeah.
And then you can go there and you can pick, and there's about 6 different lanes and trips that you can pick from, and you can ride on a cargo ship.
That's why, because I know people, every once in a while, somebody brings this up, like on the Shipwatchers Facebook group, right? And people have interest, and people have talked about, like, they remember when they did it, and is that available anymore? And I always thought it was one of those, one of those far out stories that people talk
urban
about,
legends
that aren't really real. And for some reason, I had like some crazy exorbitant amount in my head, like $7,000. And I don't know where I got that number from, but
now when I was looking at the pricing, I hope I didn't mess it up and look and see if that was euros and not dollars. But that's still, but still, like,
give people false hope, Kipp. Everybody's excited, and then they're going to look up and
it was reasonable. Like I would possibly consider it.
Right, and as long as you have miles to get you home to fly home.
You're right. Yeah, you got to
vice versa.
Vice versa.
That would be, I would guess, that would be an experience. And I wonder, where can you go and where can't you go?
Right. Once you get to port of call, can you really go somewhere to? Well, I mean, if you come into Baltimore, you
and
can
or
get an
wander
escort.
while you're on the ship for weeks.
Oh, true.
Like, can you go down onto the cargo deck for like a tour? Or I imagine they're not going to let you wander down there, but
Right.
maybe they'll escort you down there.
Be interesting.
I'm sure somebody's going to want to do it. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Glad you came up with that.
Yeah. That was. I'll keep an eye on that. See,
okay, cool.
See if I can't find some pictures of the accommodations and things.
Mm-hmm.
Curtin Maritime gets a $22 million contract for the Baltimore Harbor dredging.
Right. So this is the normal maintenance dredging that pretty much happens every year out there during the winter. And this is the same, I think the same dredge that did the work last year that we went out to.
Yes.
So I'm just go ahead and read some of this real quick. December 1st through March 31st, right? So there's the beginning and the end parameters that I was talking about.
Sure.
So the Brewerton Channel. So if you're a map person, if you've looked at the port maps on the website that show the shipping channels, the channel that comes out from under the Key Bridge is the Fort McHenry Channel. And then there's a turn to port, I don't know, 20 degrees or something. That is the Brewerton, okay? Mm-hmm. Then if you want to go south towards the Bay Bridge, you go out to like Fort Smallwood and you make a turn to starboard, I don't know, about 40 degrees. That is the Craig Hill Channel, right? If you keep going straight and don't go towards the Bay Bridge and you want to go up towards the C&D, that's called Brewerton Extension, right? So I just want to give everybody, if you can picture in your mind, because what I would love to do is have a map with like the channels color coded, and so we didn't have time to put that together. But so the Brewerton Channel, so the one that comes out from, as soon as you're coming out from the Key Bridge, the ship's coming out from the Key Bridge, as soon as they make that turn so that you're like parallel to Sparrows Point, that's the Brewerton. The Eastern Extension, which is when you just keep going straight to the C&D, and then if you turn south to go towards the Bay Bridge, that's Craig Hill. And then Seagirt West. Now, Mike's only been talking about that Seagirt loop for how many years now? Seems like.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so they're finally going to do it. And that goes down to 42 feet. Yeah. So Brewerton Eastern Extension, Craig Hill, Seagirt West, 1.46 million cubic yards. Seagirt West going down to 42 feet. Let's see. 2 known obstructions in the Brewerton, which I've heard about, because we do have access to those Army Corps scans of the bottom. So there's a couple of shallow points that like that the coal ships have to avoid. So those 2 obstructions are a single line item for $235,000 additional. Yep. Only 2 companies bid. Curtin won with $22 million. The other bid was $37.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
I mean, you can imagine if you're a company, and I don't know, maybe, you know how this goes. I mean, you ever had anything made or you put stuff out to contract, and sometimes people don't really want to do stuff. And so they'll give you a really big estimate. Right. And so they're basically what they're saying is we really don't want to do this, but if you're willing to pay us this much, we'll show up.
We'll figure it out.
We'll find a way. So I'm not sure that was that situation. But the disparity there is huge.
Yeah, that's
22 to 37. So I imagine this news came out like right after we had our last podcast, of course. But yeah, the DB Avalon is in town, and last I looked, it was up in the C&D doing work.
Okay.
And then this is interesting because you know how big that thing is, right? And then they dragged it all the way down here to Curtis Creek, back where it was when they first brought it into town. They brought it in, tucked it into Curtis Creek, where all the cranes and barges go. Okay. Take it all the way up to the C&D. They're working up there for days, a week and a half, something. They tow it all the way back down here. And then in like another day or two, they tow it all the way back up to the C&D. And it just kind of makes you think, wow, what would facilitate making you spend the money to tow this thing how many dozens of miles back to a dock? And what's really cool, what I really wanted to say is this is a really cool community, man. This is, we've got folks who keep an eye on where the dolly is. We've got folks who do readouts of what ships are in port and where they were manufactured and what year they were manufactured and what shipyard manufactured them. We've got all these people that have their own little interests and hobbies. And the one fellow was like, they were doing dive operations. So I don't know, something got repaired. They pulled up something, ran into some. I mean, I don't.
That's interesting.
So they were doing dive operations, I guess, some kind of repair.
So they had to bring it in to fix it and then take it.
Bring it in to fix it and then haul that huge thing all the way back up to the C&D.
That's interesting.
But we do think, I don't think it's written like that, but we do think it's the DB Avalon. I mean, it's in town. So we can make the assumption that they're going to be the ones doing the work. And so we'll be able to watch them crab walk across the harbor on the camera.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. To-do list. Let's email our friends from last year and
see if we can get another.
See if we can get another trip. Maybe make a little bit better video this time.
Yes. Now that I have,
Now that we have some better equipment, maybe.
Better equipment. Yep. Absolutely.
Hey, we were doing our best and we were fascinated. I mean, I was fascinated by being on board there, and just tried to record us, talking about our thoughts and what we were seeing. And the audio didn't come out so great, but hopefully we'll do better this time.
We got a better setup now, so
we'll
see if we get the opportunity, we should try it out.
Yeah, I would love that.
All right, upcoming events. Starting to collect a whole bunch of these, and now that we're getting the word out to different types of events and things, this is, I think, what you were alluding to earlier in the episode,
right?
With the Pasadena Sport Fishing Group meeting,
right? This is part of their regular meeting, but they're having an engineer, I don't know who, come in from Key Bridge Rebuild MDTA, and I think do the whole presentation.
So if you're interested in looking at the presentation in person and listening to it, go to Pasadena Sport Fishing's website. They've got some information on the meeting. I believe that the meeting is going to take place at Crabtown in the Dena.
Yep.
So make your way over there, and you might have a chance to go and learn a little bit more about the bridge.
Yep.
So we wanted to give them a plug on that.
Yeah, and then the guys in the group, the guys in the Shipwatchers group, and he said, "Hey, this is our meeting. It's open to the public. Come on out and learn some more about the bridge." And I'm great.
The Women's Traffic Transportation Club of Baltimore has their January meeting coming up on Wednesday, January the 14th, and they've got a discussion on finances. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the meeting is at the Bon Appetito. So if you're interested in attending there, you go get a ticket. Baltimore Port Alliance meeting is Friday, January the 16th. You and I we don't know. I'll be there. We'll see.
Yeah,
I know I'll be there.
We'll see. We'll have to check our schedules.
Yeah, we'll have to check our schedules on that one.
Mm-hmm.
The John W. Brown has their winter field day on January the 24th. I believe that they have a radio club demonstration and meeting out there. I saw on their website that the Savannah was open, but I can't find anything else that says that. And I hadn't talked to Bob here recently.
Yeah, that was going to be the first thing out of my mouth was like, we'll clear it with Bob. He'll know.
Yeah, he'll know. But if that's the case, then we'll update this on the next podcast. The MyTags, the Maritime Institute of Technology and Graduate Studies down in Linthicum, is hosting the Mariners for America Conference in 2025. That's March 30th. National Maritime Day will be in May. We'll have more information as we get closer to that. But I wanted everybody to kind of get a look at what's happening in June. And so June, the Sail 250 project, event. I don't know how you would classify that, is in conjunction with the America 250 celebration. Here in Baltimore, we're going to have an air show and
the Blue Angels are really coming this time.
That is really cool,
right?
And a bunch of tall sailing ships are coming in. The Coast Guard Eagle will be here in Baltimore June 25th to 28th. So they have released their schedule, and it coincides with the Sail 250 celebration.
Very cool.
They didn't list where they're going to be berthed.
No, you didn't.
I don't know where they're going to be berthed at, but I would imagine there's probably going to be somewhere to have public access.
All right, folks, you know what happens in the NFL on Black Monday? All the coaches get fired. All right, we're going to have to – Mike's going to be looking for a new podcast partner because he said
park the boat. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm excited if we were to do like a Shipwatchers tent, two guys talking ship tent, right? To be down there near that ship would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start looking into that with
that would be
Sail
cool.
250 folks in living classrooms. So, all right, that's.
I like the way you did the events schedule. This is nice.
Makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it, for folks to read through and kind of look back at it. Go, oh, it was that day. Yeah, we're trying to help get the information out. So
yeah, I think a visual always helps. So
yeah,
very cool.
And I don't have a Port of Baltimore history segment today. We spent so much time on everything else that I'm giving the history a little break.
That's okay. And just to get back to the Key Bridge, right? So there is a lot going on out there. Like we just said, I think that meant they're going to start driving like the rail piles for the western, if you will, Pier 24 for the western tower, what would be the western tower of the new bridge. And then I think pretty much everything is gone except for those marine sections. Remember we were talking about those 4 piers, one on land, and then the other 3, those 4 piers or 3 spans, they're just kind of left there like a ghost of the bridge from the past. And like everything from the outside is pretty much gone. We really can't see the bridge abutments like the big chunk of cement where, the road ends and the bridge starts, where they bolt the first beams in. You really can't see that, but I mean, if there's anything left, that's the only thing that's left.
Sure.
So, started in July, and it looks like they're pretty much done. I haven't seen a statement yet, but I mean, we can't even see anything going on camera anymore. Like, we were watching them take it down piece by piece, chunk by chunk. Now, what was interesting on the western shore, right? That first pier on land before it goes over water, and there was a crane and like a JLG lift with somebody way up in the corner doing something. We haven't been able to figure out what that was. Because supposedly those marine sections are not included in this demo effort. Remember, I keep
you were saying that,
saying that. So it's just another interesting tidbit that you see on the camera, and you got to try to guess and figure out what the heck's going on out there until Keybridge Rebuild does another post and explains it for us. But it is interesting and fun to watch and try to figure out what's going on out there.
Yeah.
It's great to have that camera. All right. So, hey, we are Two Guys Talking Ship podcast, sponsored by the Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. If you guys are interested in the Shipwatchers, we have our own website. It's www.baltimoreshipwatchers.com. There's a ton of information on there. We have port maps. We even have maps of the channels that the ships traverse, that some of the professionals use. We've got the two different live stream cameras you can watch. You can watch them on the website, click through, watch on YouTube. There's a link to the podcast. Podcast has its own page. We've got a merch page, which has all kinds of housewares like glasses and cups and coffee cups.
And by the way, my mom says thank you for her glass mug.
Oh, cool. What did you get her? Which one did you get?
I got her the clear glass one, and then the coffee mug.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she's enjoying it. She says, "Tell Mike thank you." Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you're welcome. It's always cool to see and hear about people enjoying the stuff that you kind of create. And then we're selling brand new calendars for 2026. They're still available. So, BaltimoreShipwatchers.com merch page right there. It says click on here to purchase. It's a little tricky. You have to pick the month that you want the calendar to begin on. Why?
Customizable then.
It doesn't default to January. I don't know. Just pick January, pick 2026. And then the company is called Tidelines. So if you're a boater, if you're kind of fascinated with the moon, they take like a tide line wave and wave it through the dates on the calendar. So, but you can choose, do you want the tide lines calendar or do you want the plain calendar? And then there's also, do you want your pictures, with like a white border around them, or do you want them to take up the whole space?
That's pretty neat.
There's all these different options. So, and calendars are $5 cheaper than they were last year, and you don't have to wait for Mike to mail them to you by hand. You pay with your credit card, it comes to your house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yep. 16,000 people in a Facebook group. We're all over social, so lots going on, lots of information out there. If you have an interest in the port, we probably have something for you.
Cool.
Yep. We all done?
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and count us off then.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Happy ship watching.
All right. We we might have a special guest coming up, right?
Couple guests we're kind of lining up here.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have one of those people on the next podcast. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you next time.